Okay, this lesson is about conjugating AR verbs. When you conjugate a verb, you take an infinitive, which is an unconjugated verb, and you make it match for whatever your subject is. So an infinitive in Spanish would be the verb to be, to eat, to study, to talk, etc. Now you can't say I be, I eat, or you can't say I to be, I to eat, I to study, I to talk. You have to change that to be I am, I eat, he or she eats, we study, she studies, etc. So in English, there aren't a whole lot of changes. In Spanish, everyone is going to be different. We know how to conjugate the verb to be, and the verb to be becomes soy, eres, es, somos, son. Alright? The verb to be, ser, is an irregular verb. Right? So it's one of those ones that you just have to memorize because it's different. The cool thing about Spanish is most verbs follow a pattern, and today we're going to learn that pattern. So there are three types of verbs in Spanish. We have AR verbs, we have ER verbs, and we have IR verbs. Right? You are learning AR verbs right now, and some AR verbs that you know would be to talk, hablar, to study, estudiar, to dance would be bailar. Okay, so to conjugate the verb, you need to know your verb endings, and to know your verb endings, you have to know your pronouns. So I would be yo, you would be tú, and then you formal would be usted, he would be él, she would be ella, it also fits into that category. And then we have nosotros. And then we have ustedes, ellos, ellas. Alright, so each of these is going to have a different ending. Yo, the ending is o. Tú, the ending is as. Usted, the ending is a. Or, I'm sorry, a. Nosotros, the ending is amos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas, the ending is on. So I want you to repeat after me these endings. O, as, a, amos, on. So to conjugate the verb, you take off the AR, and then you add whatever ending, whatever the appropriate ending is for your subject. So if you want to say I dance, you'd say yo bailo. If you want to say you dance, you'd say tú bailas. If you want to say he or she dances, or you formal, or even it dances, it'd be él baila, or ella baila, or usted baila. We dance would be bailamos, and they dance, or all of you dance, would be bailan. As with ser, you don't necessarily have to use a pronoun. You can't just say bailo, and that'd be the same thing as I dance, or bailas, and that'd be the same thing as you dance. Bailamos would be we dance. With these ones, if you just said baila, that could be he or she dances, or you dance, showing respect. Ellos, bailan could be ellos, ellas, or ustedes, so there's a variety there. If you need to clarify, then you should say the subject pronoun. So if you want to make it clear that it's the girls that are dancing, you'd say ellas bailan. But, generally, you don't necessarily have to do that if you know, if your subject is inferred and who you're talking to is just going to know that. Let's do a little bit of quick practice. So I've written the subjects and the endings on the left-hand side, and I want you to conjugate these sentences. And so we're going to just do the verb to study, so estudiar, and I want you to write she studies. Alright, she studies is going to be ella estudia. Alright, because ella would be here, so we're going to take off the AR, and then we're just going to add a. Alright, I want you to say Juan and Maria study. Alright, so Juan and Maria, that's more than one person. That fits into the ellos category because there is more than one person and one's a guy, so it's going to be ellos. But in this case, we want to say Juan y Maria estudian. Okay, you could get rid of that and just say ellos, or you could not even say ellos or Juan y Maria. You could just say estudian, and it still makes sense, although a lot of times you're going to want to clarify. Alright, Spanish is a little different than English. If I said yo hablo, that can be the equivalent of 3 different things in English. That could be I talk, I am talking, or I do talk. So the difference here is this is just kind of general, this is right now, and this is placing an emphasis on the fact that you are talking. And so yo hablo can be any one of those 3. So hablo is the present tense, just a simple present, and as I said, it can mean I talk, I am talking, or I do talk. There are 4 verbs that you should know that are a little different than they're used in English. Buscar means to search for, right? So we would say I am looking for, or I am searching for a pencil. Alright? In Spanish, buscar means to look for. And so we actually get rid of the for when we translate it and just say busco un lápiz. I'm looking for a pencil. Alright? So you don't have to actually put the word for in here. It's just busco un lápiz. Another verb is escuchar, which means to listen to. And so just like with buscar, you don't actually add the to. So if you say I listen to music, it'd be escucho la música, not escucho a la música. Right, another one is mirar. It means to look at or to watch. So if you look at somebody, or if you want to say somebody else looks at something, if you want to say you look at whatever, or you watch TV, it'd be miras la televisión. And lastly, esperar has several different meanings depending on how you use it, but it can be to wait for or to hope for. But if you're saying to wait for, you don't say for, you just say esperamos el taxi. We're waiting for the taxi. But remember that esperar means to wait for, so you don't have to say for when you say esperamos el taxi. So what if you want to make something negative? What if you want to say I don't study rather than I do study? So if you wanted to say I study, it'd be estudio. Okay? But we don't want to say study, we want to say that you don't study. All you have to do is you just put no in front of the conjugation. So no estudio would be I don't study. We talk would be hablamos. We don't talk would be no hablamos. We converse. I'm sorry, they converse would be conversan. They don't talk would be no conversan. Nice and easy. Okay, so what if you have a little bit more of a complex sentence where you have two verbs? For example, the verb desear means to desire. So what if we want to say, I desire to rest? So we have two verbs, to desire and to rest, which would be descansar. So in a case like this, where you say, I desire to rest, you're going to conjugate the first one, and the second one, you're going to leave it in the infinitive, which means the unconjugated. And descansar is supposed to have an S after the N. Okay. So I desire would be yo deseo. Take off the AR, add the O for yo. So deseo, descansar, would be I desire to rest. If you want to say we desire to sing, you'd say deseamos cantar. If you want to say we don't desire to sing, you put the no in front and you say no deseamos cantar. Alright, pause the video now and translate these sentences. After you're done, play the video and I'll give you the answers. Alright, to look for is buscar. So our endings are o, as, a, amos, an. O being for I, as being for tú, a being for usted, él, ella, amos being for we, an being for ustedes, ellos, ellas. So all of you or they. So I look for the pencil would be busco el lápiz. There's supposed to be a C right there. Busco. They answer the phone. To answer is contestar. So we're going to take off the AR. And they would be the same as ellos or ellas. So it's going to be an. So it's going to be contestan el teléfono. Mr. Fox teaches the class. Alright, so he teaches the class. It's going to be L. So we're going to take off the AR and add an A. The verb to teach is enseñar. So it's going to be enseña la clase. You rest. The verb is descansar. I'm going to take off the AR. Now the question is who is you? Is it for tú or usted? So this one could be descansas or it could be descansa. The students draw in class. The students, there's more than one. It's going to be they. So it's going to be AR. The verb to draw is dibujar. And so we're going to take off the AR and say dibujan and la clase. Notice that in Spanish you use the a lot more. We wouldn't say in the class, we'd just say in class. But in Spanish you have to say in la clase. You and I desire to sing. The verb to sing is desear. We actually have two verbs here. We have desear and we have to sing, which is cantar. So if we have two verbs, you conjugate the first one and not the second one. So we're going to take off the AR of this one. And you and I, it's more than one, so it's going to be one of these two. It includes I. We always includes I. So we're going to use amos. So deseamos cantar. Alright, make any corrections that you messed up on and turn it into Moodle.